Welcome to part 2 of the drafting of a pattern for this gorgeous blouse. In today's video, we shall be drafting a pattern for the front bodice. Let's get started. Remember, this is our front piece. We have CF here, and we have gone ahead and decided our length, which is this. And apart from that, we have gone ahead and also cut down the unwanted part, which is this. So we're taking it out. Now we're going to work with the lower part of the front bodice. So we'll take this away and then we'll continue working with this one. From our bodice, that is the blouse we're working on, you'd notice that the front, that's the lower part, is draped. And because it is draped, it is now time for us to determine how we want the drape to look like. At all times, the waist here remains flat. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to go ahead and close this dart. To do that, we're just going to go on and draw a straight line like this. After we close this dart, you realize that the hip here would be extended, and that's okay. Next, we'll go on and slash like this completely off. This is our center front and this is our side. At all times, it is the side that moves over to the center front because that is the rule on how to go on and close your dart around the waist area in that rotation. So you close the dart like this, and as you can see, our hip area is no longer sitting flat like this. It is going to be raised because we're closing a dart, and this is what you have. This place here is not smooth. All you need to do is go on and place another piece of paper underneath like this. Hold it down with a tape. Like I said, there are no crooked lines in pattern drafting. Hold it down with a tape like this, and then go ahead and redraw your waistline. Now, when I do that and I eventually cut off, you would notice that there's a part that was filled around this area, and that part was created due to that rotation we just did. See, there's a space here between this and this. Now, this line we just created is not going to alter our measurements. Hold it down with a tip, then go on and cut off the excess like this. And this is what we have. Next, we're going to do is to go on and now determine our slash lines. So to do that, we're just going to go ahead and take the measurement from the waist area to this part here. That's the end of our side piece. We have 3 inches, so I'm just going to go on and divide everything around this area by 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and divide it by 3, making it 1 inch each. So we have 1, 2. We have created 3 slashes. And then you mark, add to it. On this side here, we'll add another one like this to work here. We'll connect with a straight line like this. I'm going to go ahead and number it. This is very important as well. So I'll number here 1, and then we have 2, 3, 4, and 5. And go on and slash. We're going to cut off completely. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we'll set them aside. This here is my brown paper that I'm going to use to spread, and without so much, we're just going to go ahead and spread. So number 1 will be here. Let me bring it to the end. In fact, number 1 like this. Then we're going to measure 2 inches away from number 1. I'm using the back of my tape, but as you can see, I'm already telling you how many inches it is I'm going to spread. So you work with that on your own pattern. And then we'll place number 2 next at the point where we marked number 1, where we marked our inches like this. We also hold it down with a tip. And then from the end of number 2, would measure another 2 inch like this. Then we'll place number 3 at the mark and hold it down with a tip. So it doesn't move. And then from number 3, we're going to go ahead and measure out 2 inches below, like we did the previous ones. Then we'll place number 4 at exactly this place and also hold it down with a tip. And then we measure again 2 inches and then we mark. Then place number 5 like this. And also hold it down with a tip. So I've gone ahead and held everything down with a tape. Next thing we're going to do is to cut out the excess. To do that, we're just going to go ahead and start folding our paper like this. Bring 5 to 4. And then 4 to 3. Like this. Then 3 to meet 2. Like this. And then 2 to meet 1. When sewing, after you might have cut it on your fabric, this is how you're going to fold it upwards and not the other way around. You fold upwards. So here it is. I have cut everything out and this is what we have. Now mind you, when making your own curve, now when trying to sew your own so after you might have cut it on a fabric and it is time for you to create your folds, your drapes of pleats, go this way upwards from 5 to 4, 3 to 2, and then 2 to 1. On no occasion whatsoever should you do it downwards. If you do it downwards, that is 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, you're going to get a different result. So this is the upper part of the bodice and this is the lower part of the bodice. You will notice that when you put them together at the center like this to match, there's a space here. This space here is this dart that is here. When you close this dart, everything is going to fit in perfectly. Now, when you check our style that we're trying to cut, you would notice that there's no dart at this point here. That is the side bust dart. So I would have rotated this dart here, that's the side bust dart, to the waist area here, but I wouldn't do that. This is because this gives a better fitting. These 2 darts here gives a better fitting compared to having just 1 dart here. If however you want to do the same thing, you can go ahead and close this dart and rotate it bringing it to the waist area, so you'd have exactly what the style we're working on has. But I personally encourage to that it gives a better control around the bust area. With that being said, that brings us to the end of this tutorial. Now, for the fabric that is suitable for this style, I would advise that you use a crepe fabric for this style. This is because a crepe fabric is not a lightweight fabric and it's not a heavyweight fabric. It's in the middle. One more thing, when cutting this particular part, that is the lower part of the front bodice, ensure that your fabric is on bias. That is, your fabric is cut in a bias form. This is because these are drapes, and drapes form better when a fabric is in bias. See you in the next video. Bye.